Welcome to the program, The Viewpoint with Precious Ayembe. My name is Precious Ayembe. The Viewpoint is a program that talks about real life stories from different life personalities that could motivate viewers watching to illuminate them on how they can be a better person in the society. On this program, we talk about politics, we talk about religions, we talk about entertainment, and also talk about issues that affect individuals and society. It beats across all sectors. On this program, we advocate for good moral conduct, good leadership, and mentorship, and good discipline in the society for us to have a better nation. And today, on the show today, we have a former Minister of Sports, Youth and Sport, no other person than Dr. Solomon Dalung on our show today to throw some light. Enjoy this conversation as we introduce our guest. Welcome you, sir, on our show today.
Thank you very much for this opportunity.
So, sir, because you being on this show today, you're representing the government because you've worked for the government as a former sports. So you have so much to talk about the government, you have so much to talk about yourself and even the current nation. Let's start from your youth policy, because you've advocated so much for the youth. So what is your take currently, will you say, about the youth, the state of the youth in Nigeria?
Well, youth development is one of the key components of government policies. And it's quite critical because it is an avenue where young people are incorporated into the system, get familiarized with it because they will go and take leadership in the future. Therefore, this basically reflects the idea of youth development. And without youth development, leadership and the future remains rhetorical. So every society, even in the traditional society, has some provisions for the development of young people, how they are brought up, how they are inducted into leadership and responsibility. And as a government, Nigeria at independence inherited the national youth movement, and the Nigerian youth movement, rather, inherited it and incorporated it into the development plan. And so you have the National Youth Council, which more or less is an arm of the government, where young people assume responsibilities, manages their affairs, learn the act of governance, build bridges across the nation, integrate with one another, and familiarize themselves. But that appears to have been abandoned long ago because with the military interregnum, the military actually distorted the youth development plan because of their fear of their capacity to be able to mobilize and agitate against certain military government policies. So they did much in trying to distort the program, and it more or less, as it is now, is a political arm of the government, which is very useful for election purposes. And
what did you say is being used for election purposes?
Yeah, because it has abandoned its initial.
So what's supposed to be the initial vision?
The vision of the national youth movement and youth development is to prepare young leaders for leadership.
As I said,
and that's why you have the structure of the National Youth Council, structured like a government, and perform the roles of government. Government puts money. There is a budget in the Ministry of Youth for such programs of the youth.
Are they doing that or not?
That's what I'm saying. It has been abandoned.
So why is it abandoned?
Yeah, I've even given you the reason. I said it's abandoned because the politicians who inherited the initial concept from the military, I mean, the way to suppress them from agitation and protest against bad policies is to divide them. So the national youth movement has been balkanized. You have so much crisis there of leadership. But apart from even the national development plan. There are also international agencies where the development plans are keyed into. All these have lost focus. So what the politician uses the youth for more is they have reserved for them the positions of the SA, special assistant or PA, to their wives, to their sons, and maybe in their offices. So that is all that is reserved for the youth. You can hardly find any young man contesting the election and win, because he doesn't have the capacity, he doesn't have the resources, because the election has been monetized. You can hardly have any young man appointed a commissioner except he has the endorsement of a godfather or a godmother. Can hardly have a very intelligent young man who has graduated getting a job, because he doesn't have anybody who will help him bribe his way into any of the offices. So if you look at even the employment profile of Nigeria over the years, you will discover that in the army, it's the children of former military officers that are finding their way into the army. The same thing with the police. The same thing with every distinct. What the Minister of Foreign Affairs is only the children of former ambassadors. It goes with NNPC. So the system had been divided among the elites. Where you can find the children of the poor recruited now is if there is recruitment for vigilante, they will go for the children of the poor. If there is recruitment into civil defense, they will go for the children of the poor. If there is recruitment into the correctional services, they will go for the poor. But for the Air Force, no. Army, no. If it's army, if it's recruit, they will go and look for the children of the poor. So this had completely distorted the focus of youth development and also affected leadership.
So, but in your own time as a former Minister of Sports and Youth, so did you think this incident or these challenges did not occur during your time?
No, we run programs to try to correct it.
Oh, okay.
I revived the National Youth Parliament, okay, which is a leadership training arm of the ministry, where 109 young men are elected from the 109 senatorial districts in the country. They sit in the National Assembly for 1 year and they make laws for the benefit of the young people. Oh. I restored that. I also restored the National Youth Games, which was a talent hub that will create opportunity for young people with talent to develop into elite sports. We also run a peace and conflict development program, where young people from all over the country were brought together and experts were brought to sort of lecture them and train them as to how they can manage conflict within their communities, how they are going to identify early signs of conflict. Also, they were trained in mass evacuation of population during conflict and attack. So we did all this, and we also run vocational and skill acquisition programs. And in partnership with ECOWAS, some of them were trained outside the country. And at the end of every training, we give them seed money of a minimum of $150,000 to $200,000. Those who were trained outside were given $5,000. So we, in our own way, try, from my experience, try to rectify this abnormality, but I don't know whether it is still in existence.
Oh, this works. That is when you empower. These are the things you do. Well,
that's cool.
So, but you've advocated for that youth is insecurity, if not in the sense of insecurity, if not managed well, in case they are not given the right opportunity. So, why did you say that it can lead to cyber insecurity? Yeah,
if young people are not engaged dutifully by government, they will be available for easy recruitment by terrorists and bandits, because it will offer them the opportunity to control arms, and when they have control of weapons, they will use it also to suppress other people and take over territories, and so it will be a better engagement instead of the redundancy that confronts them in their various communities without attention. So no serious country will abandon the issue of youth development. It is very, very critical. And as it is today, the youth population, the ideal youth population, is so high that if nothing is done in the near future, they are going to overrun the society. Because you don't expect them to continue to tolerate and listen to this gospel of promise of hope or renewed hope. I mean, somebody has graduated for over 10 years. He has written more than 100 applications. He has never been invited for one single interview. And he can also see the child of a politician who was his classmate in the university that graduated with third class or pass, parading or branding iPhone 15 or iPhone 16, whatever iPhone you are calling, expensive gadget. Things like this will always provoke the young people. Therefore, government must look seriously towards the direction of youth development, because that's a potential tsunami.
So now, because now, what is your take on this Japa syndrome, that the mass exodus of Nigerian youth seeing this place, seeing this view and way of living the country? Is that a sign of losing hope in the country? Yeah. It's a sign. What can be done to stop this?
You know, it's a sign of losing hope in the country, because many of them had sacrificed, have done their own part of the bargain. They have surrendered themselves to the social process and acquire and built themselves ready to serve their country, but the opportunity has been so frustrating. So in a digitalized world, ICT-driven world, where information is on the tip of fingers, they see what is happening in other places. They see their mates and colleagues in other clients and communities living okay, in other countries doing well. So they cannot understand. They also have heard that the former Prime Minister of Canada was a Prime Minister at the age of 21 and retired at 29. Meanwhile, we have a young man here who is 45. He is not sure when he will be able to have money to buy for himself
a ticket.
Not really a ticket, trouser for himself. He is still hanging as an appendage on parents and relatives to maintain him, with a very fine degree in the bottom of his box. So I think the Japa syndrome is driven by frustration of the political elites. And the political elites are not helping the situation. They live very fine with their children. This is the source of the frustration of young people that Japa. Every day, if you watch on the social media, you see one senator, one minister, one this, celebrating the graduation of his son or daughter in a foreign university, thereby compounding the pains of young people. And so they now feel, oh, that's a better life there. We can't wait here. Let me just do everything possible and go over there. So the Japa syndrome is initiated by the reckless attitude of the political class. You see them with their women traveling to Dubai. You see them, and all these things, they insult the young people with it on social media. I saw a senator of the Federal Republic saying to his daughter, congratulations, because she was nominated a minister and an ambassador. How qualified is that lady than other young people in Nigeria? How many children of the party Tinubu appointed ambassadors? And that same senator, his wife died. He buried her in America. He has a house in America. To him, Nigeria is just like a colonial empire. Our problem is that majority of those people leading us are not Nigerians. They don't have houses here. They don't have families here. They are just like colonial inspectors. They are here to exploit from the resources of Nigeria.
Your Excellency, you know, you're representing the government, so you're also part of the government. If not, I'm not saying the recent government, because you've also been part of the national cake, you've been in the government. So we are here to listen to you and what can be done to stop this syndrome of our young young Nigeria, Jagbain syndrome, going to other country, and so much with so much potential and what it takes to also build this country. So what do you think can be done? Being a former minister representing the government as we speak here, and the viewers is watching you, what do you think can be done?
I've not exonerated myself and my political elite.
Yes.
I'm not exonerated myself.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that what is done, that I'm here standing in for the government does not mean I should come here and protect what is wrong. Okay. Then I will be the wrong person invited to represent government.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm here to put things as it were. So now, if government is trying, what the question now is, what should government do differently?
Yes.
You see, government, in my own candid opinion, has to look out for a program through a synergy of experts, come up with a program that will mop up the excess youth, unemployed youth that are already on the streets. Now, like I said, there are people that are up to 40, and they are still young people, because we have people 70, 80 that are leaders in Nigeria. So if the president is 70 something, 80, somebody who is 40 is still a youth.
Yeah, sure.
Very good. It is only when we go to Europe, where the prime minister is 22, that we can talk of people that are 15 that are youth. But here, our youth will be from 45 down. So what the government needs to do is to design an engagement program that will be based on this age differential. Now, those of advanced ages should be recruited into a particular scheme where they will be trained in their different disciplines and deployed either into rural development programs that government will fund very well. If they are engineers, they should be into construction of rural roads. Doctors, government should build hospitals. They should be posted with very good incentives for them to go and work in this community. So you would have dealt with either 45 to 30. Then you now design another program that will take from 25 up. So now when you engage this and take them up completely, now you plan how to tackle the evolving generation. What definite youth development program that you will put in place to take care of youth, and take into consideration that the world today is ICT driven.
Oh, we're going on a short break. We're right back. We are with the former Minister of Sports, Dr. Solomon Dalung, here with us. On this short note, we're going to hear from him when he was in power, the things he has done for the youth, the policy he made for the youth, and how youth on their time was kind of better, as he said. These are the themes we're going to be hearing from him as we round up. Let's go on a short break and right back.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite. This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 38.
Welcome back to the program, The Viewpoint with Precious Ayembe. Our guest today is the former Minister of Sport, Minister Dalung Solomon, with us. This segment now, we want to hear from him his achievement when he was in power as a former Minister of Sport, and what he did for youth, and what he thinks maybe could be implemented to see a better achievement in times of, in lessening of this Jacques syndrome, or giving more power, more courage, more vocal to the youth of today Nigeria. So this is what we're going to be discussing now. So welcome back our guest again, former minister. Now, what we're going to be looking at is your achievement in power. So what did you do? Can you take us around the lane of the things you've done during your tenure, and what you think I'm implemented, or maybe you think it's not that what you did was not what is going on now?
Well, I want to begin by encouraging Nigerian youth that every society that is advanced, they went through challenges, and Nigeria is not an exception. Losing confidence in your country is never an option at all. Great people are always remembered as to the sacrifices they made for the development of the country. Those of you who are Christian will know that Nehemiah was in exile in the house of King Cyprus. He was living very fine, but for the love of his country, which was in ruins, he decided to express it from his countenance. And the king noticed and asked him, and he said, "No, I'm living here happily, but my country is not in order. And if you will give me permission to come back and build my country." And of course, the king approved. He came back with others and built the walls of Jerusalem. Now, the lessons to be learned here for young people is that anywhere you go, you will still have that feeling of not being complete if your country is not okay. So there is no need for us to abandon the country. Let us rally around ourselves and put in our best and see how we can make the country work. When I was in office, I don't want to belabor you of running political successes, but I knew that there were major decisions we took that transformed the ministry. I set up a committee of eminent personalities, which was the Sports Reforms Committee, and of course they came up with fantastic recommendations which I implemented, and that transformed Nigerian sports into some of the successes we recorded. Nigeria, as at the time I left the ministry in 2019, was a champion in African champion in 9 sports. Sadly, today we have declined, and we are nowhere, maybe around 2 to 3 champions in 3 African champions in sports. And I also qualified Nigeria, and I made reference to this. I qualified Nigeria for the World Cup in 2018 with a match to spare. Sadly, since I left in 2019, Nigeria has never made it to the World Cup again. Nigeria is even not likely going to be in the World Cup next World Cup season, which is sad enough. So there is a report, a sports report committee that is in the ministry, and any bad person who would want to do justice to consolidate on it, that is enough for him to learn. For the youth component of the ministry, we also, because the National Youth Policy, which is the document upon which youth development is anchored into thematic issues, was abandoned for a very long time. So it was only in 2019 I reviewed it and launched it even a day before I left office. Launched the brand new National Youth Policy, and the updated National Youth Policy is very comprehensive enough with all the thematic issues reviewed from 18 to 32, taking into consideration contemporary challenges of the youth, which government is supposed to pay interest to. The issue of gender equality, girl-child education, technology, youth empowerment, youth acquisition of vocational skill for the youth, youth training and leadership, conflict management, and all these are contained in the document. So if government will give it an attention and implement it, definitely is going to go a long way to tackle some of the multifaceted challenges confronting young people. But for us, we did our best by laying a solid foundation, and the foundation is still there, it's solid for anybody who would want to take a look at it and build on it for the progress of the Nigerian youth.
Oh, that's good. So now let's talk about you coming from Jos and the crisis in Jos. What is your take on how the Northern elders, as a permanent voice from the North, what is your frank assessment of the North Elder Forum and other religious leadership group on this affected area on insecurity, and what you think how the youth, they can educate the youth on insecurity in that area?
Now, as it stands today, insecurity had already engulfed the entire 19 northern states. So I don't think reference can only be made only to Jos. But the question is...
Because you were coming from that, was why I put the question.
Yes, the question is, what role will the youth play in crisis and conflict management, which now is a recurring decimal in our social life? I think we are underutilizing the youth. Government needs to engage the youth and educate them. They have the strength, they have the energy, they even have the knowledge of how to deal with some of these challenges. I was in a house in Jos, and a young man came and told me he is into drone technology, and they have fabricated drones that can effectively monitor the entire state.
Wow. And
generate data which can be planned for security operations.
Wow.
That is a young person. Unfortunately, he has even not traveled out of this country, so you wouldn't have thought he had a link with foreign technology. No. Now, that is how innovative our youth are. Now, the huge potentials of the youth has remained untapped, and we cannot successfully defeat this current state of insecurity without involving the youth. The most significant reason why we will have to involve them is that they are not only going to be useful today, but the experiences they acquire today is going to help them when they ultimately assume leadership. So they are the real population to be targeted by government and engage, incorporate into any security management plan so that we can be able to overcome. If we don't engage them, the terrorists will offer opportunities for them.
Now, thank you so much. As we round up for today's segment with our guests, so what is your final word to Nigeria and to Nigerian youth and the viewer watching?
Well, to Nigerians, we are facing enormous security challenges. Every day the news is abductions here, kidnapping here, killings here. But Nigerians should not lose hope. Let us rally around ourselves in love and in care, hold each other's hands, and unite and face this evil, because the evil, which is terrorism, is targeting us. And if we are not united, then they will overrun us. To the young people, I want to re-emphasize that the situation does not give you good reasons to misbehave or to take into criminality because you are frustrated. Certainly not. Remain focused, consistent, and steadfast, believing in your country. I know very soon we'll be able to get out of this situation. And I'm appealing to the political elites to try to provide good mentorship for the young people, because if the youth are not mentored properly, then we should not expect a better society tomorrow. For Nigerians, I wish the country well.
Oh, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate this. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for sharing your thought with us. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Destined viewers, this is where we want to draw the curtain for today. My name is Precious Yembe. Our guest today is the former Minister of Sport and Youth, and he has thrown more light on the potential of the youth and which he wants the government to take good care of that, on how we can have a better youth who can also contribute their own quota in developing this country. We also talk about insecurity as well. We also talk about the use of engaging the youth into diverse segment in the government. This is where we say goodbye for today. You can reach us on the number showing on the screen on the flyer and the channels you can watch this program. Stay tuned again and watch this program 3:30 p.m. today, and again on Friday 7:30 p.m. If in case you miss it out today by 3:30, you can still follow it up Friday tomorrow by 7:30. My name is Precious Ayeme. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend, and bye for now.